Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. I'm pleased to have the opportunity to speak today, having been unable to do so on Monday. And because of the international law-breaking clauses, I believe insufficient attention has been given to how this bill affects the devolution settlements, and that's a matter of great regret. Now, throughout this bill's passage, my colleagues and I have been keen to work constructively on this specific part of the bill, and I do hope that now those law-breaking parts have been taken out of the legislation, we can make sure that the voices of the devolved nations are listened to. At earlier stages, I brought forward amendments on ensuring the devolved administrations had input into the membership of the CMA, following on from the precedent set by the Scotland Act. The Lords have made amendments on the common frameworks, on the functioning of the Office for the Internal Market and on the engagement with the devolved administrations, amendments which build on the devolution settlement rather than undermine it. I have found the Government's rationale for refusing these changes to be highly frustrating, and a key case in point is the interaction between the common frameworks and the UK internal market. Why do we need this legislation when the common frameworks have buy-in from all the devolved nations? The Government tells us it's because the internal market deals with cross-sector issues, whereas the common frameworks are to do with specific sectors. And yet, when the Minister appeared before the Scottish Affairs Committee, I asked him whether he could give an example of a cross-sector issue that the bill would help solve. He could not. And when he wrote to the committee on this matter, and I am grateful to him for doing so, he said, "We would refer you to pages 81 to 83 of the White Paper, which sketch out a cross-sector example in the form of an illustrative supply chain in the agri-food area." I think that says it all. The Government can't provide a real-life example of a product which is cross-sector affected. And when you read the White Paper, the implication is that there are no common frameworks in those different sectors. I do not see how, if the common frameworks are in place, there should be an impact, and therefore there is no need for the bill's provisions. So the Government's refusal to support Lord's amendments on common frameworks, in particular amendments 1B, C and D, is frustrating. But I'm also very concerned by the Minister's response to the committee regarding the role of the Office for the Internal Market. It will have huge powers, and the real worry is that parties involved in trade deals, and the example I gave in committee was US investors, could sue the devolved administrations or indeed the CMA. The Minister's response to that point was that the CMA is therefore able to accept reporting requests from bodies and individuals with relevant concerns connected to the operation of the internal market, including those from outside the UK. Although it then suggests that such reports would not interfere in devolved competencies, can the Minister confirm that by submitting a request to the CMA, foreign investors could potentially interfere with devolved administrations? And if the CMA refused such a request, could these foreign investors then challenge that in the court? The Minister has insisted this is not a political bill, but given the fact that the Paymaster General just this morning was unable to confirm to me whether the Government would bring forward international law-breaching clauses in future business, such as the taxation bill that the Honourable Member for Bromley and Chislehurst referred to, if the outcome of EU negotiations is for no deal, it is clearly nothing